The quantum arrays aboard the UES Stellar Horizon hummed quietly as Lieutenant Commander Zara Patel studied the unusual energy signatures emanating from the Proxima Centauri system. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she thought she'd seen everything the cosmos had to offer. She was wrong. "Commander Patel to the bridge," the ship's AI announced, its voice carrying an unusual note of urgency. "Unknown energy signature detected at coordinates 227 Mark 44. Zara's fingers danced across her holographic display, analyzing the bizarre readings. The signature pulsed with an almost organic rhythm, unlike anything in Earth's database. As she rushed to the bridge, her mind raced with possibilities. Captain Thomas Rivera stood at the command center, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. "Report, Commander." "Sir, the signal appears to be some form of distress beacon, but its structure is completely alien," Zara explained, projecting a three-dimensional visualization of the energy pattern. "It's using quantum entanglement principles we've only theorized about." Before Rivera could respond, the main viewer crackled to life. The image that materialized made everyone on the bridge catch their breath. The being on screen was composed entirely of translucent crystals that shifted and flowed like liquid glass. Patterns of light danced through its form, creating what appeared to be expressions. To any vessels within range, the universal translator struggled to convert the melodic harmonics into English. "We are the Viridian Medical Transport Luminous Mercy. We are under attack by Shadowclaw raiders. Our shields cannot withstand their weapons much longer. Please, help us." The transmission cut off abruptly, replaced by tactical data showing multiple hostile vessels surrounding what appeared to be a convoy of crystalline ships. Captain Rivera's expression hardened. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization was happening in the worst possible way. "Battle stations," Rivera ordered, his voice calm but firm. "Commander Patel, contact Earth Command. Lieutenant Park, plot an intercept course, maximum speed." As the Stellar Horizon's crew sprang into action, Zara couldn't help but marvel at how quickly humans adapted to the impossible. First contact protocols dictated observation and careful diplomatic approaches, but those rules hadn't accounted for finding an advanced civilization under attack by space pirates. Earth Command's response was swift and unexpected. "Captain Rivera, you are authorized to render assistance." Admiral Kenzo Yamamoto's holographic form materialized on the bridge. "We cannot stand by while innocent lives are threatened, regardless of species. However, be advised that the UES Intrepid and UES Thunder are en route to your position. Try to delay engagement until they arrive." The next 20 minutes were tense as the Stellar Horizon closed the distance. Zara used the time to analyze every scrap of data they could gather about both the Viridians and their attackers. The crystalline beings' technology seemed to focus on harmony and resonance, their ships beautiful works of art that channeled energy through crystalline matrices. The raiders, in contrast, used brutal, aggressive designs bristling with weapons. "Multiple impacts detected on the Viridian vessels," Lieutenant Park reported. "Their shield harmonics are destabilizing. Contact the Shadowclaw vessels," Rivera ordered. "Let's see if we can resolve this peacefully." The response was immediate and hostile. A rough-looking humanoid with cybernetic implants appeared on screen. "This is none of your concern, human. These crystals and their cargo are our prey. Interfere, and we'll add your ship to our collection." Rivera's response was measured but firm. "This is Captain Thomas Rivera of the United Earth ship Stellar Horizon. You are engaged in piracy against a medical transport. Stand down immediately, or we will be forced to take action." The pirate captain's laugh was cold. "You're outnumbered 3-1, human. What action could you possibly take?" Just then, two more ships dropped out of FTL behind the Stellar Horizon. The UES Intrepid, a heavy cruiser, and the UES Thunder, a state-of-the-art destroyer, took up flanking positions. "Now it's 3-on-3, Rivera smiled. "Last chance to withdraw. The pirates responded by opening fire, their energy weapons lashing out at both human and Viridian ships. What followed was humanity's first interstellar battle, and they made sure it would be remembered. The Stellar Horizon's tactical officer, Lieutenant Reza Nazari, had already analyzed the pirates' weapon signatures. Their energy weapons operate on a similar principle to our phase cannons, sir. If we modulate our shields to match their frequency. Do it, Rivera ordered. The first volley from the pirates splashed harmlessly against the human ship's shields. The return fire was devastating. The Stellar Horizon's weapons had been designed to pierce the most advanced defensive systems humanity could imagine. Against the pirates' crude shields, they were unstoppable. In less than 10 minutes, 2 pirate vessels were disabled, their weapons and engines destroyed with surgical precision. The third tried to flee but found itself caught in the UES Thunder's tractor beam. As the human ships moved to secure their prisoners and assist the Viridian medical transport, Zara received a transmission from the crystalline beings. Their forms seemed to pulse with what she hoped was positive emotion. Unknown saviors, humans, the translator converted their harmonic speech. We had heard tales of your species. Some called you primitive, others dangerous. We see now that you are something far more important, you are protectors. Captain Rivera's response would be recorded in both human and Viridian history books. That's what humans do. We protect those who need protection, help those who need help, and stand up to bullies wherever we find them. Welcome to the galaxy, friends. Let's get your wounded to safety. As medical teams prepared to board the Viridian vessels, Zara couldn't help but smile. Humanity's first official contact with an alien species might not have gone according to any diplomatic playbook, but they'd shown the galaxy exactly what kind of people they were. Sometimes, the best way to make friends wasn't through careful negotiations, but by doing what was right when it mattered most. Commander Marcus Santiago stood at the tactical display aboard the UES Thunder, watching as more enemy signatures appeared at the edge of the Proxima Nebula. The Shadowclaw pirates had returned, but this time they'd brought reinforcements. 20 warships of various sizes emerged from FTL, their weapons already charging. They're not here for revenge, Lieutenant Olivia Wu observed from her sensor station. This is a full-scale invasion force. Marcus nodded grimly. After their initial defeat, the Shadowclaws had revealed themselves to be mere pawns in a larger criminal syndicate. Now the real power players had arrived, determined to crush the Human Viridian Alliance before it could strengthen. Status of our forces, he asked, though he'd memorized the numbers already. The Thunder had been joined by 5 other Earth vessels and 3 Viridian crystal ships, but they were still outnumbered more than 2 to 1. The UES Intrepid and Stellar Horizon are maintaining defensive positions around the Viridian medical facility, Wu reported. The crystalline ships are having trouble maneuvering in the nebula's radiation fields. Their resonance-based technology is being disrupted. Marcus studied the swirling gases of the nebula on his display, an idea forming. Where the Viridians saw interference, he saw opportunity. Get me a channel to all ships. It's time to show these pirates why humans excel at asymmetric warfare. The plan he outlined was audacious. Traditional space combat relied on predictable formations and direct fire exchanges. But humans had centuries of terrestrial warfare experience to draw from, and Marcus intended to use every dirty trick in the book. This is insanity, the Viridian commander, Resonant Harmony, transmitted. Their crystalline form flickered with what humans had learned to recognize as anxiety. The nebula's radiation will reduce our shield efficiency by 60%. Exactly, Marcus grinned. And they know that. They're expecting us to retreat to safer space where they can bring their superior numbers to bear. Instead, we're going to use the nebula against them. The human ship split into 3 groups. The Thunder and 2 escorts plunged deeper into the nebula, while the Intrepid's battle group appeared to begin a fighting retreat. The Viridian vessels maintained position near their medical facility, their presence forcing the pirates to split their attention. The Shadowclaw fleet advanced confidently, their lead ships charging weapons. That's when Marcus sprang his trap. All ships, execute Operation Thunderstorm. The Thunder and its escorts had used the nebula's radiation to mask their maneuvering, getting into position behind the advancing pirate fleet. Now they emerged from the gases like avenging angels, their weapons already firing. At the same time, the Intrepid's group reversed course, catching the pirates in a devastating crossfire. But Marcus wasn't done. Deploy the resonance mines. Hundreds of small devices, developed jointly by human and Viridian engineers, activated throughout the nebula. They began emitting the same frequencies as the Viridian ships, creating phantom targets that confused the pirates' targeting systems. They're breaking formation, Wu reported with satisfaction. 3 enemy vessels have collided trying to avoid ghost targets. The pirates' numerical advantage had become a liability. Their ships, packed too closely together in the nebula's confined space, couldn't maneuver effectively. Every evasive action risked collision with their own allies or phantom targets. Marcus keyed his calm, resonant harmony. Now would be a good time for that trick we discussed. The Viridian commander's response was immediate. Their crystalline ships began emitting complex harmonic patterns that interacted with the nebula's radiation. The result was spectacular. Waves of energy cascaded through the gas clouds, overloading the pirates' shields and scrambling their sensors. Multiple enemy ships reporting critical system failures, Wu announced. Their shield matrices are collapsing under the harmonic resonance. The battle turned into a rout. Unable to tell real targets from phantoms, their sensors crippled by the nebula's enhanced radiation, the pirate fleet began to disintegrate. Some ships attempted to flee, only to find their FTL drives wouldn't function in the disrupted space. Others tried to fight on but found themselves firing at sensor ghosts while human ships picked them apart from unexpected angles. Enemy flagship is hailing us, Wu reported. They're offering surrender. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Tell them to power down all weapons and prepare for boarding. Any ship that doesn't comply will be assumed hostile and dealt with accordingly. As human and Viridian forces moved to secure their prisoners, resonant harmony transmitted to the Thunder. Commander Santiago, I must admit I had doubts about your strategy. Our military doctrine emphasizes direct confrontation and overwhelming force. This asymmetric approach of yours, using the environment and deception, it's most unsettling. But effective, Marcus pointed out. Indeed. Perhaps there is much we can learn from each other. Your people's ability to turn disadvantages into advantages, to think beyond conventional military doctrine, it's remarkable. The aftermath of the battle revealed the true scope of the pirates' operation. Data recovered from the captured ships showed they had been targeting medical shipments across multiple sectors, using the stolen supplies to blackmail vulnerable colonies. They didn't expect resistance, Marcus explained during the debriefing. They certainly didn't expect humans to show up and start fighting dirty. We may be newcomers to interstellar warfare, but we've got millennia of experience in finding creative ways to beat superior forces. As recovery operations began, Marcus received word that Earth Command was establishing a permanent presence in the sector. The Shadowclaw Syndicate's defeat had created a power vacuum, and humanity had no intention of letting it be filled by another criminal organization. The galaxy's about to learn an important lesson, he told his crew. Humans don't just fight to win. We fight to protect. And we're very, very good at both. Ambassador Diana Reyes noticed the subtle shifts in the crystalline form of First Speaker Luminox as they discussed the proposed Human-Viridian Defense Treaty. After months of negotiation, something had changed in the alien diplomats' resonance patterns. The trade routes must remain open, Luminox insisted, their crystalline surface rippling with unusual patterns. Our colonies cannot survive without regular medical shipments. Diana's decades of diplomatic experience told her something was wrong. The Viridians' emphasis on the trade route seemed forced, rehearsed. She kept her expression neutral as she made a subtle hand gesture to her aide, triggering a quantum encryption protocol in their communication systems. Of course, she replied smoothly. Earth is committed to protecting all legitimate commerce in the sector. However, I'm curious about the recent changes to your shipping schedules. The question was a probe, and Luminox's reaction confirmed her suspicions. The crystalline beings formed briefly displayed a pattern that the human diplomatic corps had learned to recognize as fear. Later, in her secure office aboard the diplomatic station, Unity Point, Diana reviewed her findings with Intelligence Director Jason Park. Someone's pressuring the first speaker, she concluded. The changes to the trade routes, the insistence on specific patrol patterns for our ships, it's too convenient. Agreed, Park's hologram nodded. We've detected unusual communication patterns from several Viridian officials. They're being careful, but our quantum analysis suggests they're receiving messages from outside their normal diplomatic channels. The Shadowclaw Syndicate couldn't have operated so effectively without inside help, Diana mused. We thought we'd eliminated the corruption after the battle, but what if that was just the surface? Their discussion was interrupted by an urgent alert. A Viridian medical transport had diverted from its scheduled route, dropping out of FTL in an unmarked system. When Diana accessed the manifest, her blood ran cold. The ship was carrying a full cargo of crystalline regeneration matrices, technology that could save or destroy Viridian lives depending on how it was used. Get me Commander Santiago, she ordered. And contact our Viridian allies, the ones we're certain we can trust. Within hours, a covert operation was underway. While Diana maintained the appearance of normal diplomatic relations, human and loyal Viridian forces moved into position around the mysterious system. What they discovered confirmed their worst fears. A massive hidden facility orbited a rogue planet, its design an ugly fusion of Viridian crystalline technology and something else, something ancient and wrong. Scans revealed it was producing weaponized versions of the medical technology, designed to shatter Viridian bodies from within. This explains everything, Diana told the Emergency Council. The Shadowclaw Syndicate was just a front. Someone's been playing a longer game, using corruption and piracy to mask their true intentions. The evidence was damning. Several high-ranking Viridian officials had been compromised, forced to cooperate through a combination of threats and manipulation. The conspiracy reached deep into both human and Viridian space, with tendrils connecting to other sectors and species. But the conspirators had made one crucial mistake. They had underestimated humanity's capacity for unconventional thinking. While they focused on traditional power structures and official channels, Diana had built a network of trusted allies among the Viridian lower castes, the miners, engineers, and medical workers who kept their civilization running. Your species continues to surprise us, Resonant Truth, a Viridian crystal worker turned informant, told her. Our traditional hierarchy made us vulnerable to corruption from the top down. But your human tendency to form connections at all levels of society, it created a network they couldn't infiltrate. Diana's report to Earth Command was clear, they weren't just facing pirates or corrupt officials. Something far older and more dangerous had been manipulating events, using the Shadowclaw Syndicate as a tool to destabilize the sector. The facility's design incorporates technology we've never seen before, she explained. Whoever's behind this has been playing a very long game. They saw humanity's emergence into galactic society as a threat to their plans. The Council's decision was unanimous. The Human-Viridian Alliance would not only continue, it would expand. Joint task forces would be established to root out corruption and protect vulnerable colonies. Most importantly, they would investigate the true source of the threat. As Diana prepared for the difficult conversations ahead, she reflected on how humanity's diplomatic approach had evolved. They hadn't tried to impose their values or systems on the Viridians. Instead, they'd demonstrated their principles through action, protecting the weak, fighting corruption, and valuing individuals regardless of their status. We're building something new here, she told her team. Not just an alliance between species, but a new way of thinking about galactic society. They thought they could use traditional power structures to control us. Instead, we're showing them what real cooperation looks like. The conspiracy had wanted to prevent human influence from spreading through the sector. Instead, they'd created exactly the conditions that would showcase humanity's greatest strengths: adaptability, innovation, and the unshakable determination to protect those in need. Intelligence Officer Raj Kumar studied the holographic display in his secure office aboard Unity Point Station, analyzing patterns that most would miss. Beside him, Viridian Sentinel helixes crystalline formed pulsed with deep purple hues, their species' indication of intense concentration. There, Raj pointed to a seemingly innocent cargo manifest. Every third shipment diverts power from the medical stasis fields for exactly 2.3 seconds. Not long enough to damage the supplies, but perfect for transmitting burst communications. Helix's surface rippled with understanding. The corrupted officials aren't just taking bribes. They're part of a coordinated network. Their joint investigation had revealed layers of deception that went beyond simple corruption. The weaponized medical technology they discovered was just one piece of a larger puzzle. Someone, or something, had been methodically infiltrating both human and Viridian power structures for years. A coded transmission from one of Raj's deep cover agents brought new urgency to their investigation. "The facility we found isn't unique," he explained to Helix. "My agent identified similar installations in 3 other sectors, all using the same hybrid technology. The age of the technology troubles me." Helix's crystalline form darkened. "These installations incorporate elements that predate both our civilizations. We're dealing with something ancient. Their breakthrough came from an unexpected source." A routine scan of quarantined communication devices revealed quantum signatures that shouldn't have been possible with current technology. When Raj and Helix traced the signatures back to their source, they found something chilling. The signals originated from a region of space that both human and Viridian legends marked as forbidden. The locals called it the Dark Zone, a sector where ships disappeared and signals died. But the quantum signatures suggested it was anything but empty. "We need to go in," Raj decided. "These transmissions are controlling the entire network. If we can shut them down." "My people have avoided that sector for millennia," Helix cautioned. "Our histories speak of great dangers." "Sometimes the most dangerous path is the right one," Raj replied. "We'll take my ship, the Shadow Dancer. She's equipped with experimental stealth systems." The mission nearly ended before it began. As they approached the Dark Zone, automated defense platforms older than human civilization activated, firing weapons that bent space itself. Only Raj's reflexes and Helix's crystalline energy manipulation saved them from instant destruction. What they found within the zone defied explanation. A massive structure hung in space, its architecture an impossible blend of organic and mechanical elements. It pulsed with the same quantum signatures they'd been tracking, but at a scale that suggested devastating power. "By the first crystal," Helix whispered. "It's a control node. A remnant of the precursor empire our legends speak of. They didn't vanish, they've been hiding, manipulating, waiting." The facility's security systems recognized Helix's crystalline nature, allowing them limited access to its database. What they discovered confirmed their worst fears. The precursors had seeded their technology throughout the galaxy, creating puppet organizations like the Shadowclaw Syndicate to manipulate developing civilizations. They've been steering species toward conflict, Raj realized. Preventing alliances, keeping everyone divided and weak. The Human-Viridian partnership threatens their control. A sudden energy surge warned them they'd been detected. As automated defense systems activated, Raj made a desperate decision. He uploaded a quantum virus, designed by human and Viridian scientists, into the facility's network. The virus worked better than they'd hoped, cascading through quantum pathways and disrupting the precursor control signals. Throughout the sector, their puppet networks began to collapse. But they'd awakened something in the process. Ancient systems stirred to life. The facility began transforming, revealing weapons that could tear worlds apart. The precursors were done hiding in the shadows. As Raj and Helix fled back to warn space, they knew they'd achieved their objective, exposing the true enemy. But they'd also triggered a confrontation millennia in the making. The galaxy was about to learn why combining human determination with Viridian wisdom had been the precursors' greatest fear. They wanted to keep us weak and divided, Raj transmitted to Unity Point as they raced home. Instead, they've given us a common enemy. Humanity isn't alone anymore, and we're done being manipulated. War was coming. But this time, it wouldn't be fought in shadows. The combined fleet of human and Viridian ships emerged from FTL at the edge of the Dark Zone, facing an enemy that had manipulated galactic civilization for millennia. Commander Marcus Santiago stood on the Thunder's bridge, watching as the precursors' massive battle stations emerged from quantum space. They're launching automated defense platforms, Lieutenant Wu reported. Energy signatures matched the weapons that nearly destroyed the Shadow Dancer. Ambassador Diana Reyes' voice came through the fleet-wide channel. The precursors expected us to fall back once we discovered their existence. They never imagined we'd bring the fight to them. The enemy fleet was vast, ships that merged biological and mechanical components in ways that defied physics. But humanity and the Viridians had prepared. Intelligence Officer Raj Kumar's data from the control node had given them crucial insights into precursor technology. All ships, execute Battle Plan Prometheus, Marcus ordered. The fleet split into specialized task forces, each combining human tactical innovation with Viridian crystal technology. Resonant Harmony's crystalline ships generated interference fields that disrupted the precursors' quantum control signals, while human vessels exploited the gaps in their defenses. The battle unfolded across dimensions. The precursors wielded weapons that could bend space and time, but they fought with cold logic and predictable patterns. Humanity brought chaos to their ordered universe, using strategies that no artificial intelligence could anticipate. They don't understand why we're fighting, Sentinel Helix observed from their position alongside Raj in the command center. Their simulations show this battle is unwinnable. They can't compute that we'd rather die fighting than live under their control. The precursor weapons were devastating. 3 human ships and 2 Viridian cruisers were lost in the first exchange. But their sacrifice allowed the Shadow Dancer to slip through the enemy's lines, carrying a payload that represented both species' greatest achievement, a fusion of human ingenuity and Viridian crystal harmonics. Remember, Raj transmitted to the fleet, they've spent millennia keeping species divided, preventing the very cooperation that created this weapon. They never imagined we could work together so perfectly. The battle reached its climax as the precursor's main control node revealed itself, a structure larger than a small moon, pulsing with quantum energy. As the Allied fleet engaged its defenders, the Shadow Dancer made its final approach. Diana's voice cut through the chaos. For too long, they've manipulated us, used our differences to keep us weak. Today, we show them the power of unity. The weapon activated, releasing waves of crystalline-enhanced quantum energy that shattered the precursor's control networks. Throughout the galaxy, their puppet organizations collapsed. The ancient empire's grip on the younger races finally broke. The precursor installations began to fail, their biomechanical components turning on each other without central control. The automated defenders fell silent, and the battle stations crumbled into quantum space. In the aftermath, as rescue operations began and damages were assessed, Marcus received a transmission from Earth Command. The quantum virus had spread through the precursor's network, exposing their manipulation to every spacefaring race in the galaxy. The response was unprecedented. Species that had been enemies for generations were reaching out to each other, recognizing how they'd been deceived. The precursors thought they could prevent unity by fostering division. Diana addressed the victory celebration on Unity Point. Instead, they created the very conditions that would bring us together. Today marks a new era, not just for humans and Viridians, but for all species who choose cooperation over conflict. Raj and Helix, watching from the crowd, shared a moment of understanding. The precursors had fallen because they couldn't comprehend what made younger species strong, the ability to trust, to form bonds, to risk everything for allies they'd only just met. As the celebration continued, news arrived from across the galaxy. The precursors' puppet networks were being dismantled. Trade routes were reopening. Species that had been manipulated into conflict for generations were establishing diplomatic relations. They thought humanity's arrival in galactic society would be their doom, Marcus reflected. They were right, but not for the reasons they imagined. We didn't defeat them with superior technology or overwhelming force. We defeated them by doing what humans do best, bringing people together, standing up for what's right, and refusing to accept that anything is truly impossible. The stars watched as a new age dawned, one where cooperation replaced manipulation, and unity grew stronger than division. Humanity had proven that being dangerous didn't mean being destructive, sometimes it meant being exactly the kind of dangerous the galaxy needed to break free from its chains.